All right, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. I have a fantastic guest today. This one is going to be all about pretty much healthy living and healthy diet and how to reverse type 2 diabetes. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Charmaine. I'm a registered dietitian and I help people reverse type 2 diabetes by changing the way they eat. So I'm here.
So great to have you on. I've been following you on Instagram for about a year, and
Awesome.
I got type 2 diabetes about 7 or 8 years ago. And it was the classic kind of out of nowhere. I was
Mm.
absolutely fat. I was 5'7", 5'6",
Hmm.
feet tall, weighed about 200, but didn't look like, I didn't think of myself as like obese. But when you're
Hmm.
this size and you're not really exercising and stuff, it crept up on me out of nowhere. And it was really bizarre because I think I knew about it for about a year. I was having these um, situations where I just feel awful. And then one day the awful didn't go away.
And what made it change for you, would you say?
What made me change my
Your
diet?
lifestyle? Yeah.
Oh, well, this is what I tell a lot of people because a lot of people ask me for advice on reversing type 2.
Hmm.
And I say, if you're not happy in your life, you're really probably not going to be able to reverse type 2. And I'm just going to be honest about that,
I
because
agree.
until you figure out what your main problem is. Now, look, there's a lot of people that have addictions to food, but there's also people that have no time to work out. They've got two, three jobs. They're trying to pay the bills. I get it. But you have to really zero in on what the real problem is. And with me, I loved stand-up comedy, which is what I do. So I was
Hmm.
like, well, I'm either going to fix this or I'm going to die. And I don't
Hmm.
want to die because I happen to love what I'm doing.
I love that. So you're able to find the passion in your life, and that's what keeps you going, and that's what made you know that that's more important, right? Because everything is about mindset than, the bad food choices that you make, right?
Yeah. And I
I love
think
that.
I think I do a bit about diabetes and I say I know everything about a 36 Harley Davidson. I don't know anything about my body. And I
Hmm.
think the problem with healthcare is they don't really like when I got the diagnosis, he just said you have type 2 diabetes and I go, "What do I do?" And he goes, "I don't know." You know?
Really? He said,
I
I don't know.
Well, he just said, here's some insulin or
Hmm.
metformin, take this and or hire a nutritionalist, but they don't actually, I mean, matter of fact, I took it on so hard that when I came in 3 months later, he said, whoa, because I had lost 40 pounds. He
Hmm.
said, I tell people every day they got diabetes type 2, and they just say, give me the medicine.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I really dove into Joel Furman's book.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
And also Jason Fung.
I love that. That's awesome.
And then you kind of try to figure out something that's going to work for you. Now, me, I couldn't
Hmm.
afford the medication because at the time I was a starving comedian, so I had to
Hmm.
figure it out. And I
Hmm.
still don't know uh, everything about type 2 because in the last 3 months it has creeped up again from
Hmm.
6 to 6.4
Hmm.
A1C. And
Hmm.
that could be a lot of stress.
Yeah, yeah. Stress definitely is the biggest factor when it comes to increasing your A1C. And I think what you mentioned there, a lot of times, like in healthcare, doctors aren't trained to actually treat the root cause. They're trained to manage the symptoms, right? And so a lot of times it's easy for them, and that is their actually continuing education. They're taught to know this new medication. They're taught to prescribe this, but not to actually address the root cause. But I'm glad that you're able to, start changing your lifestyle. Definitely stress is a big one. If you don't mind me asking, what are the changes that you felt like you made that caused your A1C to creep up, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I think it can be a combination of a lot of stuff. My mom passed
Hmm. Oh,
away.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and then she died basically of type 2. She had a heart attack at
Hmm.
78, a small heart attack, went into
Hmm.
hospital, and then they couldn't, she got, pneumonia, couldn't get
Hmm.
the liquid out of the lung. It was a long thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it has a lot to do with stress.
Yeah.
Then after of 7 years, you kind of start to feel bulletproof. And you're
Hmm.
like, well, I lost 40 pounds. I check my blood for a solid month every January of the year. It's perfect. It's never bounced back. And so you
Hmm.
start to slip. But I think one of the things that really happened to me was I had started to get acid reflux from sparkling
Hmm.
water. And somebody recommended these three licorice root, for the heal, to heal it naturally. And what I didn't know was licorice root is like 100 times sugar. So
Hmm. Hmm.
all of a sudden, my feet just started burning and my legs were aching. And then I Googled licorice root, and sure enough. And so I think that it went up because
Hmm.
I didn't know that it's over a course of 3 months, the A1C. So it might have been from a few months ago, this
Hmm.
intense, almost overdose of licorice root.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense. First of all, my deep condolences. I know this is a huge, event in your life, and I know that it's, very stressful. We've actually had clients before that, were able to lower their A1C, and then a family member passed away and their A1C went up like by a point. Or I've had someone, for example, she was able to lower her blood sugar to like 80, 90s in the morning, and then all of a sudden her car was broken into. That day, her blood sugar spiked up to 180. So it definitely has a lot to do with our emotions. It's a fight or flight system, and the best way to combat it is through exercise to really use that glucose in your blood. And I think another thing too with acid reflux is a little bit out of my specialty, but we've actually had seen people who actually when they add more fiber in their diet, they actually see their acid reflux be gone. And so that's something that a lot of experts or scientists are now suggesting that the lack of fiber is what actually, cause the acid reflux. Obviously, there's other factors like what you said, maybe carbonated water, it's a little bit more acidic, that can cause more acid reflux, but if you just, kind of cut that out or switch to maybe like spa water instead, where we have like water, put some cucumber, mint in it. That should definitely help as well, since you already eat a pretty healthy diet.
Let me ask you some things on, basically things to eat. Because
Hmm.
what I did was when I got diabetes, I basically went vegan for 3 months
Hmm.
and then started introducing stuff back into my diet, checking my
Hmm.
blood, and whatever spiked, I didn't eat. And what
Hmm.
didn't spike, I made that map, and that's basically what I've been eating.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
there's things that I always have questions on, like
Hmm.
oat or almond milk in
Hmm.
coffee. Or I drink a lot of matcha.
Uh-huh. Me too.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
is matcha for diabetes, and how is
Hmm.
caffeine for diabetes? Because a lot of people
Hmm.
go back and forth. Some people
Right.
say caffeine awful for diabetes.
Hmm.
Some
Hmm.
say it doesn't affect it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because caffeine can come from different sources, right? So what's been found was that one, if it comes from coffee, in some people it does spike their blood sugar, and some people it doesn't, right? And some people it does spike their blood sugar, even if it's black coffee. So you just kind of have to test it out for yourself. And if you love coffee, if it doesn't spike your blood sugar, if it's black coffee, go ahead. You can definitely add, plant-based milk in it. I would say my suggestion when it comes to adding plant-based milk to your matcha to your coffee, it would be probably unsweetened soy milk or unsweetened almond milk. Oat milk is a little bit higher in glycemic index just because the way it's processed. But if you are able to have better carbohydrate tolerance and tolerate oat milk, I would choose the ones without the added oils. So that's the one that I'd probably choose. But my go-to is actually organic soy milk that's unsweetened because it's high in protein and it's very creamy. It's much creamier than almond milk. So that would be my choice.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
you almost have to bring your own then to a place, because
Yeah.
I look at their almond milk or their oat milk, and they're always like,
Hmm.
7 grams of sugar.
Right.
That's for a massive amount.
Hmm.
But,
Hmm.
so I start trying to backtrack where this could have gone up.
Hmm.
Stress,
Yeah.
the licorice root,
Hmm.
continuous oat milk or
Hmm.
in my matcha every day.
Yeah. But matcha is great though. Matcha is great for lowering your blood sugar. What you want to do as well is you want to put your matcha, like you want to drink it separate from your meals too, because sometimes like tea is amazing. It's very high in antioxidants, can help you lower blood sugar, but it can lower your iron absorption. So you want to drink it maybe like 30 minutes, an hour after you eat at least to, kind of separate that as well. But I love matcha.
How about before you eat? Just have it like an hour before you eat, like in the
Yeah, you
morning.
can do before you eat. That's
Yeah.
fine as well. Yeah.
Now, where are you on berberine?
Berberine, yes. So I actually, one thing that you'll notice about my social media pages, I don't do any sponsorships because I usually just I promote fruits and vegetables, not that they, sponsor me at all. But berberine, actually there is science behind it showing that it can help you lower your blood sugar. There is science behind it showing that it can help you like lower your A1C as well. So and it's actually shown that because berberine comes from a plant, from the fruit. So when you actually eat the fruit, it's actually even more effective than the pills itself. But I'm not against it at all. I would just go to ask your doctor about like berberine because it is very effective in lowering blood sugar. You don't want to do too much berberine and too much metformin where it lowers your blood sugar too much. That's the only thing. So if you feel like you want to take berberine, that's totally up to you. But I'm just not one to, promote supplements, just because I don't want people to feel like they need a supplement to survive or they need a supplement to be healthy, if that makes sense. But does it help? Yes, like there's definitely science to it as well. Same thing with, cinnamon, brewer seeds. I always talk about those things. Those things definitely help you temporarily lower your blood sugar. But what you want to do, obviously, kind of like what you did, was to change your whole diet. And then, if you're able to fill in the gaps with, berberine, with cinnamon, brewer seeds, then, by all means.
Yeah, because I was a little leery. I used berberine for the last couple weeks because I just found out about it. But I also didn't want my body to get addicted to it or used to
Mhm.
it, and then without it, I would be screwed. Do
Yeah,
you think that's a
right.
possibility?
Yeah, that could be, but your body can adjust like after a while. Let's say you are able to get to a better A1C. Let's say you slowly like wean off berberine and still maintain your healthy diet, your body can adjust. So it just really depends on each and every one.
Now, are what is your recommendation for testing your blood? So I was told you eat and then you check it 2 hours later. Is that the proper way?
Yeah. So you eat and you check it to, so the official number usually post-meal blood sugar is 2 hours after, and you want it to be less than 140. And then there are times that, when we work with our clients, we also will ask them to check an hour, just to see, how it's going, just to make sure that, like, because sometimes with certain foods, it might cause like a quick spike and then slowly like falls down already. And so that's why sometimes we look at the 1 hour mark. We still want it to be less than 140, but usually 2 hours is the official way. But sometimes we just tell our clients to check an hour after just to see how they're reacting to the foods. And then I would say you want to look for a 50 milligrams per deciliter blood sugar increase after you eat. So you don't want it to be too high. You also don't want it to be too low as well, because you do kind of need that insulin to kind of work and to bring in glucose into your body. You kind of need that up and down in your body. So it's good that you kind of follow Joel Berman's protocol, because it's not, completely low carb or carnivore or anything like that. So in the morning, it's also helpful to check as well.
Right when you wake up.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
when I wake up this morning, I woke up, it was 128. So that's
hmm
high, huh, for a resting glucose reading?
It's a little bit higher. I would say that's like a little bit elevated, but if your A1C is 6.0 to 6.4, that's almost expected, if that makes sense. If you would say before you had lower blood sugar readings, then I would definitely aim to kind of bring it back down to lower blood sugar. What would you say it was before? Like before?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. In the 7 years, I never tested myself when I got up
Mm.
because I didn't know you were supposed to. I
hmm
waited till I had after my first meal, a couple hours after the first meal is when I start the day testing.
Got it, got it. Yeah, so what I would suggest as well is just to see like what your body's pattern is. And maybe it's just when you wake up that's a little bit higher, which is actually completely normal. There are some people that, maybe their A1C is at like 5.5, and then in the morning their blood sugar is like at 120. There are some people like that because when they wake up, there's adrenaline, there's cortisol, their body's kind of pumping out glucose so that they can, get going. It's really, I wouldn't say same, but it's a very similar process as when you eat, right? When you eat, there's energy, glucose in your body. So when you wake up, your body kind of gives you more food from its glycogen store so that you have more glucose. So in some people, it might be naturally a little bit higher, but you just kind of want to see, you know, like after you bring your A1C down to the normal range to see, okay, like how is my blood sugar doing? Just to make sure that that I think A1C is most important, I would say.
Now you said 140. Now the testing kit that I've been using for years says normal 112 between 112 and 162.
Was that a diabetic range, or is it fasting, post-meal blood sugar? It says that number.
No, for testing after you eat. I
Oh,
mean,
post-meal blood sugar. It's
yeah,
just the official number for normal,
right.
for someone that has like a normal A1C. That's where we kind of want to aim it to be less than 140.
Okay.
The thing about different ranges is that there's different associations, and there's different ranges for people that maybe they're in the diabetic range, pre-diabetic range, normal range. But officially it should be at less than 140. But perhaps sometimes they kind of allow maybe 20 difference, or 20
Right.
plus minus difference.
I ate some Zekio cereal yesterday and it
Awesome.
skyrocketed to like 226. And I
hmm
only had a little bit of it. And I thought, oh, this could be a good cereal instead of
Right.
oatmeal. And
hmm
no, it was
Yeah.
so good.
Which flavor did you get? Is
It's
it
just
the
plain.
It's just the plain one?
Yeah,
Got it. And did you have it with any milk as well?
I did. I had the unsweetened almond milk, but I had
Got it.
fruit, strawberries, and blueberries in there.
Yeah. Yeah, if that's the case then, because we have seen clients like sometimes Ezekiel is great. It's very, very healthy. No matter if it's the bread, or if it's the wraps, or if it's the
Yeah, I use them
cereal.
all.
Yeah, what I would do is I would probably wait till you have better carbohydrate tolerance to have Ezekiel. Um, Another cereal that I saw on the market that's lower in glycemic index is the Three Wishes one. I don't know if you've seen the Three Wishes.
What's it
What do
called?
you search? It's called Three Wishes. I've seen it at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
It's Three Wishes cereal. Again, I'm not sponsored
Of
by
course.
any of
Yeah,
these.
no, we're just going through because
Yeah.
it's incredible to find out stuff to eat. And a lot of
Right.
people ask me.
Right, yeah. So let me just send it to you in the chat. So this is
Okay,
just the
cool.
Three Wishes cereal. So what's really cool is that it's not sweetened by sugar at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's going to be again lower in glycemic index is because it uses legumes instead of grain. So it uses like lentils or it uses wait, let me just double check what the ingredients are. So yeah, they use this chickpeas. They have tapioca, which is like a starch, but they add like pea protein. So this is very, very high in protein. Um, a serving has 3 grams of fiber and 8 grams of protein. So way better than others, I would say. You can try it. Now, I
Right.
don't promise because everybody's body is different, so I don't promise that, it's not gonna skyrocket your blood sugar. But that's something that you can also try as well. But I would say oat groats is great for breakfast too.
Overnight oats.
Overnight oats, I would probably use oat groats just because like if you can do overnight, I've never done overnight oat groats,
What is
but
oat
just
grow?
the oat groats is basically the most unrefined form of oats. So rolled oats is actually they just roll open the oats so it's easier to cook. It cooks
Right.
faster. Quick oats is, they do it even smaller in pieces. Um, Steel cut oats
Yep.
is basically lower in glycemic index compared to old-fashioned oats.
I
But the
use that.
lowest, okay, steel cut is also good as well. But if you want it to be even lower, I would
Yeah.
do oat groats. And what you can do, I know it sounds weird, but what you can also do is add riced cauliflower into your oat groats to add more fiber, lower the glycemic index even more. It's also important to get protein at your breakfast as well. So if you're doing plant-based, you can add some silken tofu into your oats because silken tofu in Asia, we use it as dessert. It's kind of like pudding basically, but it has the protein. So you can do that. And yeah, that'll be a good breakfast. If you're not doing plant-based, you can, which you don't necessarily have to go vegan to reverse diabetes. I want to say, even though I am, 100% plant-based,
Yeah.
90% of my clients aren't, but they are still able to see amazing results. So if not, then you can also add things like egg whites to it or eggs, scrambled eggs if you do choose to, you know, not go
Yeah.
completely.
Usually what I do is a little bit of steel cut oatmeal with some
Mm-hmm.
cinnamon, blueberries,
Mm-hmm.
scrambled eggs, and avocado.
Awesome. That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds really good.
Can
And
you?
that usually is better on your blood sugar, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it's
yesterday's breakfast, did you have those with it or just Ezekiel?
just the Ezekiel.
Yeah,
And I
that
had it
probably
during
is
the day,
another
like at
reason why.
lunch.
Right,
Uh,
right. You want to have the protein together with it and healthy fats and all that good stuff.
okay. Now, um, here's a question for you. So,
Hmm.
also another thing I was doing that really seemed to help was every couple hours after I tested the blood, I just ate a small meal. So it was kind of
Hmm.
like 4 small meals or
Hmm.
5 a day, real small.
Hmm.
So I would never get hungry and overeat at night, you know?
Hmm. That's good. Yeah.
Well, when a person comes into you and says, I've got type 2 diabetes, how do you approach them right away? What's the thing? It's diet and exercise. So
Right.
exercise after you eat, immediately go start walking.
Hmm.
I work out every day for 1 hour. Uh,
Hmm.
so
Awesome.
that's why I really think that this licorice root and comboed with the stress has really thrown it
Mm-hmm.
upside down. So the client comes in, says, I've got type 2. How do you approach them?
Yeah. So one thing that I would always start with is to ask them what do they like to eat,
Yeah.
right? And without judgment, not judging. If you say it's pizza and lasagna, all that good stuff, no judgment. I what I want to do is that I want to know what cuisines that they usually like. If someone likes Mexican cuisine, if someone likes Asian cuisine, right? I want to know, or even just if someone likes sandwiches, right? Like I want to know what they actually enjoy, and then we'll start making switches from there and additions from there. Let's say if you're someone that I have to have sandwiches every lunch, right? Okay, what can we do? We can switch out the bread, right? If instead of using your white bread, you can use Ezekiel bread, right?
Right.
Or whole rye bread, like the German brick rye bread. You can use that. Okay, if you usually
Sourdough?
sourdough is awesome as well. If you can't find whole wheat sourdough, that's even better. But yeah, sourdough is going to be lower in glycemic index. Okay, if you usually have chips in it, can you switch it to celery and carrots with hummus? Is that okay? Right? If you usually have ham and cheese with it, can you switch it to maybe hummus or maybe like marinated tofu to like add it in your sandwich? So it's really learning to make those switches. I don't know, do you live in I know you live in California or
Yeah, I
PST?
live in Los Angeles, so I got
Okay,
a
me
lot of
too.
healthy options.
Right, right. Yeah, me too. So we get a lot of exposure to different cultural foods, right? Mexican food. Okay,
Right.
if you like tacos, that's cool. Do you know, the corn tortilla is actually a whole grain product, right? So you can do that with nopal. Nopal is like the cactus. So there's nopal tacos, there's lentil tacos, right? If you like pozole, you can do like a chickpea pozole. You really just can still have the same spices, the same flavor, and just really learn how to make switches. And the switches that we're making is adding more protein, adding more fiber, and lowering the saturated fat intake so that you'll be able to process glucose a lot better because it's all about reversing your insulin resistance. So, yeah.
And what would be the fiber like kale and spinach and stuff like that?
Yeah, it will be like so fiber can come from almost just every food group that you eat as well. So it can come from the non-starchy vegetables like bell peppers, kale, bok choy, spinach. Um, Spinach actually doesn't have as much as, things like kale, cabbage. I usually recommend cruciferous vegetables. You probably have, you know, seen me talk a lot about that in my social media, right? Cabbage, Brussels sprouts, all that good stuff. And then your protein you can get from tofu. You can get it from lentils, beans,
Black beans,
tempeh.
right?
Yes, black beans, right? Like those are really, really good sources of fiber. Now, for some people, they may have to consider beans and lentils kind of like their carbohydrates and then maybe add tofu and tempeh as their protein because those are lower in carbohydrates. Or if you don't want to do plant-based, you can do maybe like shrimp or tilapia, something like low, like a lean protein. You can also do that as well. And then the whole grains, you can also get great fiber from it. And you don't want to skip whole grains or beans or lentils because the fiber that it gives is different than a non-starchy vegetable. The fiber it gives is soluble fiber that can go into your bloodstream that helps you lower cholesterol, lower triglycerides. So things like farro, wild rice, quinoa, those are really, really great. Um,
I eat
Whole
quinoa
grains
every
to add.
day.
Awesome. That's
Matter of fact,
wonderful.
I put it in the oatmeal, you know.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Some of my clients make a quinoa breakfast bowl as well. So instead of oats, they just use quinoa, add the berries on top. You can add your unsweetened almond milk there. That's something that's really good as well.
Yeah, so quinoa, berries, and how about Greek yogurt?
Yeah, so you can also do Greek yogurt as well. Greek yogurt is higher in protein, so you can do plain Greek yogurt. I would probably choose like a non-fat Greek yogurt just to lower the saturated fat intake. So that's what I would do if I wasn't doing plant-based.
And are you not afraid of sugar on the label? So Greek yogurt might say, 3, 4 grams of sugar. Are you
Mhm.
like, because it literally is impossible to eat no sugar? Because people
Right.
go, well, how'd you do it? And I just say, well, no white flour, no white
hmm
rice, and no sugar,
hmm
no like candy, ice cream, and all that.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
hmm
so are you afraid of that? Is it, like the four
hmm
grams of that is in Greek yogurt?
Yeah, so not necessarily. That I'm even when I teach people to read labels, it's not necessarily I mean, of course you don't want added sugars, right? If it's a flavored peach Greek yogurt, then yeah, probably not. But I know naturally dairy does have some lactose in it. So I'm not worried about that. Nor am I worried about fruits at all. Fruits also have a lot of natural sugars to it. But if you choose low glycemic index fruits, they're actually really, really good for helping you reverse diabetes because of the
Fruits.
antioxidants that it has. It helps you lower oxidative stress. Lots of great things about fruits. So it's not necessarily about the sugars, but what we help people to do is to actually heal their body to be able to process sugars again.
Right.
So all the, lowering the fat intake, it actually helps you kind of unclog your cells because you probably have seen, me talk about this all the time. So this is just for your audience, but imagine that you have a lock and key, right? Let's say your cell is a lock and your insulin is key. So normally it'll work perfectly, right? But let's say someone stuck some chewing gum in the lock, right? That chewing gum is the buildup of fatty acids in your cells. It turns off insulin receptors, so insulin can't bring in the glucose from your blood. Where does the glucose go? It's stuck in your blood, and that's what causes high blood sugars. So that's why I'm very big on, okay, trying to eat a lower saturated fat diet, a higher fiber diet, and it's actually backed by tons of research as well to help your body have better insulin sensitivity.
How could you eat a lower fat diet if you're not full plant-based? Would it be
hmm
salmon, fish? How about any kind of meats? Are,
hmm
are, are meats a problem with diabetes?
hmm Yeah, so there's definitely research showing, and I'm saying this not to be against meat at all, but there are research showing that things like processed meat or or not, sorry, or red meat that are higher in saturated fat, the more you consume it, the more increases your risk for type 2 diabetes. So there's definitely tons of research on that and insulin resistance as well. However, there is ways where you can still choose lean protein if you do choose to have animal protein. So things like I mentioned, like shrimp or tilapia. I actually am allergic to shrimp, so I just do plant-based, but you can also do things like chicken breast that's lower in fat. You can also do pork chops, and pork chops is actually leaner cuts of pork chops. That's also lower in saturated fat as well, or like leaner cuts of meat, if you can. So it's really about adding more plants rather than like eliminating animal products altogether. Yes, if you have meat, you definitely want to have even more plants as well. And I actually went to Japan, Okinawa, which they actually have the blue zones there. I don't know if you've heard of blue zones at all.
No.
So blue zones are actually populations that live past
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of
I know
people,
what that
yeah,
is.
that live
Oh yeah.
past, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
more like
hmm
110.
Right, yeah.
It's like two places like, New Zealand or something, or I don't know. They're
Yeah.
usually also far east.
Right, right. So one blue zone where people live past a lot of people live past 100 years old is actually in Loma Linda. So Loma Linda is, very have a high population of Seventh-day Adventists who do a lot of vegetarian, vegan. Another population that I've been, or another blue zone that I've been to is actually in Okinawa, Japan.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really cool because we actually went to a restaurant where they showed us their traditional food. So my plate was like full of different like vegetables, different fruits, like different like grains. And then I got the plant-based version, but the non-plant-based version, it was just like a sliver of pork. They
Right.
do eat a lot of pork there, but it was just like a sliver of pork, like that's all they eat. But then traditionally, like most of it is plant. So that's kind of how we want to eat, right? Like we don't want to completely eliminate. I mean, if you don't want to completely eliminate animal products, that's okay. You just want to add more plants to it.
Where are you at with brown rice?
So brown rice is very, very healthy. Some people do worry about the arsenic level in
Of course.
rice. So you want to look for rice that's grown in Thailand. I love Thai jasmine rice. It literally is like the best smelling rice ever.
Which
So
rice?
Thai jasmine rice.
Thai.
Um,
Oh yeah.
yes, but you want to choose the brown version, obviously. However, I would say that in some people, brown rice might still increase their blood sugar a little bit more, especially if you don't have great carbohydrate tolerance. So what I would do is that I probably would mix in things like chickpeas or wild rice. Wild rice is going to be lower in glycemic index into the brown rice, so that can lower the glycemic index. So that's what I would probably do. And then, of course, if you're able to build more muscles, increase your insulin sensitivity a little bit more, then you can add in the brown rice as well.
What now, fruit?
Hmm.
I eat fruit, and there
Hmm.
seems to be two rows of fruit. One
Hmm.
will blast you, and the other one won't. So I
Hmm.
read that cherries are good, then I read that they're not good. I love cherries. I've read, of course, I eat blueberries and strawberries in the morning. Those are
Hmm.
fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, it seems red apples
Hmm.
skyrocket me, but green apples don't. So
Right.
where are you with cherries and different fruits
Yeah.
like that?
I love cherries. Again, this is the thing where everybody reacts differently to different fruits, but cherries are considered low in glycemic index. I usually love doing frozen cherries because I get those from Trader Joe's. They have the dark, sweet frozen cherries, and I just do like a little bit of like the frozen cherries after every meal. So I'm a big fan of frozen fruits. If you're at my house, I'm always offering you frozen fruits because I don't know, it's summer, it's hot, it's great to have like frozen fruits. But cherries are actually considered low in glycemic index. So you can try them, but again, just to preface, everybody
Yeah.
is different. Hmm.
Well, I'm trying to get it back down right now.
Hmm.
So it was at 6.4. How long should I wait before I go check the A1C again? A couple months?
Hmm. When was your last A1C that
About three
you
weeks
took?
ago.
3 weeks ago? Yeah, I would probably wait another 3 months to do another check once you're able to see that your average. Do you use like a CGM or you just prick your
I just pricked the
fingers?
finger.
Okay, yeah. So if you're able to see it, start to see lower numbers and things like that, then you can do another test in 3 months. But 3 months usually is the good point. I've had one of my clients, Ezekiel, he had like a major drop in his A1C. He went from 12.8 to
What?
4.6.
How,
Yeah,
how
and
are
that
they
was just
alive at
in
12.8? I'm telling you, I got the 6.5
hmm.
and my feet burned. Like when I was
Mm-hmm.
in bed, it would just burn, like the
Right.
tingling and
Hmm.
a little bit of blurry vision. How are these
Hmm.
people alive at that level?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was getting blurry vision, and it is actually very dangerously high. And so, it's good that you caught it very early on. But that's the scary thing is a lot of people don't get symptoms from it. At least you got symptoms, and in a way, yes, it sucks that it hurt, but it gave you a wake up call, right? Like
Yeah.
it gave you just a wake up call to start doing something. But a lot of people don't get any symptoms. So when they see their number so high, they're like, oh, what does that number mean? They don't know, right? Like that it's very serious. But basically with him in 3 months, so we started working together when his A1C was at 12.8. In 3 months, his daily blood sugar is already like 70, 80. His doctor had to like quickly lower his medications already. In 3 months, his blood sugar dropped to 7.8. So dropped 5 points, which is, very impressive, but it wasn't at 4.6 yet. But then like another month or two later, he was able to drop it to 4.6. But the moral of the story is A1C is always going to be an average because his A1C was so high before. So the midway A1C is going to be like in the middle, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, just give it time. Consistency is key when it comes to, maintaining your A1C. So yeah.
And what did he do? Was it all diet and exercise or?
Yeah, it was all diet and exercise. I mean, he ate very, very well. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a picture of what he ate there. I love getting his pictures to show it to people because
Oh, I'll get a picture of me too, so you can see what I looked like.
let's see. Oh, what I mean is what he ate. I'll show you what he ate. He actually was pretty like slim already at 12.8, but he looked really well. But let me just look at his
Okay.
food for you of what it looks like. Can I share my screen by any chance? Okay, here's okay, let me just share my screen
Was
here.
he working out or?
Yeah, so he was, walking. I mean, he was a truck driver, so he definitely um, moves. I mean, he drives the truck, but he also like moves items as well. So he definitely does, you know, include some cardio, weight training, all that good stuff. So let
While
me
you're
just
looking
show
for
you.
that,
Uh-huh.
what's a good, that looks good. See, like if
Yeah.
somebody was making that for me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yes.
I'm not a cook or whatever. So I have to go to places like Sweet Greens and,
Right.
you know, this restaurant here on my street all time and places and eat.
hmm
What about sweet potato?
Yeah, so sweet potato is great for you. I think he baked it here. What's better is if you boil it, it's going to lower the glycemic index. Obviously, it doesn't taste good as baked. So
Right.
sweet potato you can definitely do that. It's better than potatoes, I would say. And then
Oh
if you
yeah.
want to lower the glycemic index even more, again, you've probably seen me talk about it, but I would just put it in the fridge so that you can increase the resistance starch in your starch and then reheat it again. But as you can see, like his meals here, he actually had some salmon in there, hidden in there, but it's just adding a lot of fiber, a lot of plants, a variety of plants as well. But every meal he probably has like some chicken or something. But you can see, like this is what I mean by plant predominant diet. It's not that you
So,
have to go vegan. It's really about like the variety that you have as well.
so he's
So.
got lentils there. Is that brown rice?
Yeah, so I think he has like lentils. Let's see. He wrote it all down. He has cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, strawberries, avocado, sweet potatoes, lentils, black beans, red cabbage, mixed veggies, chickpeas, tangerine, zucchini, purple onion, tomatoes, garlic, carrots, peaches, red peppers, cloves, cilantro, ginger, rosemary, thyme, paprika, cinnamon, cumin, parsley, turmeric, cayenne, oregano, lemon. I feel
Who's
like I just
making that?
rapped there.
Is he making that?
Yeah, he's making that himself. A key though to, making a spread like this isn't being in the kitchen every day. It's really just having maybe on the weekend, spending 1 to 2 hours just chopping up all these ingredients so that every day you can just put it all together, just batch making it. And that's what we teach our clients is to batch make your food so that you'll be able to um, have it every day and make your own bowl, um, if that makes sense. So.
Let me ask you, where are you at with protein bars?
Mhm.
Are they bullshit? Are they just candy? Because I was using this one for a long time. I had the creator on the podcast, No Cow, NOCOW, the No
hmm
Cow bar.
No cow.
And
hmm
yeah.
Let
Uh,
me look it up.
yeah, so yeah, look that up. And then how about barbell that they have at Trader Joe's? I mean,
hmm
just chemicals and garbage.
Yeah, well, what we usually want to look at is that it's not too processed.
Uh-huh.
So let me just look at what the protein bar has. Yeah, you just want to make sure it's not too processed. You also want to make sure it's not too high in fat because there's a lot of protein bars that are actually really high in fat.
High in
Um,
fat. Oh,
mhm.
so it's a low fat diet is basically what you're really
Yes.
talking about.
Yeah, that's really the magic. When you lower the fat, you'll see I mean, you can still have things like nuts and avocados, but
Let's
you,
see
you
here.
want to lower the.
Let me get this picture of me here.
hmm
Uh, and you can see this if the people want to see it on my Instagram.
hmm
Here. Okay, so this was 8 years ago, a couple weeks ago. Um, so here. Now you sometimes when I
Are you
show
sending it to me on Instagram?
no, I'll just
Or you show it on the screen?
Yeah, I'll share it on the screen. Hold on here. Okay, here. So this is me. Let me see here.
Oh wow. Yeah, you look like two completely different persons.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, and then
amazing.
here, look at this photo.
Wow. Yeah, you look very different for sure.
Right. So,
hmm
so what's interesting about that was I was carting that around for a few years and didn't have symptoms. And then one day I just had
hmm
symptoms.
hmm
So did you look up the no cowboy?
Yes, the no cow one. Yes. So like in terms of fat, it's actually not as high as I've like sometimes I've seen protein bars that have like 20 grams of fat, like or 15 grams of, that's 5 grams of fat, so that's not too bad at all. 20 grams of protein, pretty good. The protein blend is brown rice and pea protein, so those are pretty good. Fiber, very high fiber. The only thing I would say is you want to be careful not to rely too much on sugar alcohol. So you can see that it has erythritol in it. And then as you can see the sugar alcohol is like 8 grams. So you can treat this as a treat, but I probably wouldn't eat it like as a snack every single day, just because sometimes sugar alcohol like kind of messes up with your um, gut health as well. So you want to try to minimize that. But is it going to be like pretty blood sugar friendly? I think so because of the amount of protein that it has and the fiber that it has. But I would just try to be careful about the erythritol. There is something if you're looking for protein,
Yeah.
um, there's a recommendation that I have. I usually get this from Amazon. Again, not sponsored by any of these brands.
Right.
And hopefully you guys don't, sell out this
No, no,
one.
not at all. Because
Um,
people need to know,
yeah.
what was happening with me was I was
Hmm.
eating these small meals, but I'm a comedian, so I'd be out at
Right.
night and
Hmm.
I would need a fourth meal because I was out
Mm.
till like midnight and I'd be
Right.
faded, like actually foggy from not enough.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
started eating one protein bar a night. Now you
Hmm.
just said that it can mess with your gut health. So that's probably
Hmm.
part of the reflux being coffee,
Mm.
sparkling water, and protein bars,
Hmm. Hmm.
just giving you bad gut health.
Right. Yeah. It might be. So you want to, kind of
Right.
lower that. But this one I found, it's actually I wouldn't say it was a protein bar because it's supposed to be, a jerky, a plant-based jerky. But
Right.
it's actually made with mushroom protein. So that what's really cool is that um, if you see, I know it's like a long list of ingredients, but the main ingredient is really just mushroom, and then they just have like different things to like flavor it. So
Oh,
one,
wow.
it's low in fat. If you can see, one bar has 1 gram of fat. Calories is just 81 calories. But
Right.
protein, one bar has 10 grams. So let's say like that bar is 20 grams of protein, right? If you just eat two of these, it's 160 calories, right? But you have more natural fiber because I mean, sometimes they add like extra fiber to it, but this one, the fiber really just comes from the mushroom itself, right? And you have the protein. So you can, I mean, it does have a little bit of sugar in it, but I'd say it's, pretty
Yeah.
minimal. But this one I would say will be a pretty good um, choice. The primal vegan jerky, the shiitake mushroom one. I don't like the other flavors. It's a little bit tough for my liking, like because they make it with some make it with seitan. The ones made with soy is a little bit better. I like the mushroom the best.
Okay.
The in terms of the.
Now, before we get
Mhm.
out of here,
Hmm.
go to treat. Like there was a while where they had those ice creams. What was that brand called for it was really hot.
Halo
Yeah.
or yes. Hmm.
Remember that? And
Hmm.
so I was rocking Halo, and then one day my buddy was like, look, that stuff's not good for you. You're just fooling yourself. Any go-to type of treat out there?
Yeah. Are you looking for sweet treats
Yeah, yeah,
or?
because I'm
Hmm.
like, that was my demon was candy, ice cream. It wasn't like,
Hmm.
I mean, of course I liked some pizza or whatever, but it was mostly I ate candy all day like an idiot. It
Right.
wasn't sodas, it wasn't anything. It was like gummy bears and, you know?
Yeah. So there's okay, I'm gonna try to remember what the name was for this one, but there is an ice cream brand that makes their ice cream based on bananas. And I found it from Sprouts.
Uh-huh.
Um it's
Isn't
a
bananas awful for diabetes?
So it is higher in glycemic index, I would say. So you want to be a little bit careful in enjoying that. But it's like I would say, so when it comes to diabetes, like yes, like bananas might be higher in glycemic index, but our goal here is to increase your carbohydrate tolerance so that you can process bananas again. So many of my clients, like before, bananas with skyrocket their blood sugar. But once they reverse their insulin resistance, they're able to eat bananas again with no problem. So this is probably one of the treats I would suggest, like when you're able to improve your carbohydrate tolerance, you can have bananas. And when you like freeze things, it tends to lower the glycemic index of it. So there, I have to like remember what the name is called, but there is one brand that
Yeah,
has
email it
the
over to me.
yeah, yeah. I'll send it to your DMs when I find it
Yeah.
as well. Another thing that I would suggest as well is there's plenty of like have you heard of the nice cream not nice cream, the what's it called? The Ninja ice cream maker. Have you heard of
No.
that? So it's very popular nowadays. If you look on YouTube and search like Ninja ice cream maker recipe, there's a lot of people that uses like protein powder to make the ice cream. So and you can like do your almond milk. You can maybe do like a couple of dates to sweeten it. And then use like a very clean plant-based protein, like a pea protein, for like a high protein, high fiber ice cream. That's something that you can do. I've seen people use things like tofu
Yeah.
to make ice cream. So there's plenty of different ideas that you can use to make
Does
a
anybody sell
high
it
protein
like
ice cream.
made already?
I need to check if there's anyone that
Yeah, let me know.
excels it. Yeah, I'll let you know. But yeah, for sure, like Halo, they do have a lot of like added artificial sweeteners that you want to be
Yeah.
careful of.
One last
So,
question. Where you at
mhm.
on Ozempic?
Ooh, you like opened a Pandora box here.
I don't mess with it,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's definitely going to be one of those things 5 years from now that
Hmm.
they're going to be going, wow, the Ozempic, tuna
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. So, in terms of medication, my official stance is always like that's between you and your doctor. If you choose to take it, that's you and your doctor. If I was in somebody else's shoes, I would not take it because one, the what Ozempic does is it slows down your digestive system. So it actually is formulated after the Gila monster venom. I don't know if you've
Oh, yeah.
heard of that. Yeah, okay. So it slows down your digestive system. So it actually increases your risk for getting gastrointestinal diseases like gastroparesis, severe constipation. Even our clients that were on GLP-1 drugs, a lot of times they see gastroparesis, severe constipation, and a lot of times what happens, and this is, not just what we see with our clients that were on, GLP-1 drugs, but also some doctors report that a lot of these people that are on GLP-1 drugs, they dramatically or significantly lose their muscle mass. And so we've met a lot of people that maybe have lost a lot of weight, but they lost a lot of muscles too, where
Oh, they
they
got that
can't burn more
Ozempic
glucose.
skeleton. You look like a
Exactly.
skeleton.
Right, because it really makes you not hungry and not eat, right?
Right.
And one of the biggest reasons why people get off of Ozempic actually is because they miss eating. They miss like being able to eat, right? And I think that is one of the biggest joy in life, in my opinion. Like I love eating. So,
Oh, why?
I always tell people that I want to have like a good appetite so that I can like enjoy foods, right? So the more you exercise, the more you improve your insulin sensitivity, you'll have a healthy appetite. And you really don't need Ozempic when you change your lifestyle. And also one of the biggest thing too, I told you open a Pandora box here, so I'm gonna keep going. But
Yeah.
one of the biggest thing too is a lot of times people take it because they want to get rid of the food noise. A lot of people feel like they can't control themselves around food, right? So a lot of times like Ozempic or these GLP-1 drugs flush out the food noise, which, we actually have heard that from, some of our clients. And if they choose to take it, that's fine. Like there's no shame around that. But what actually is really cool about plants is that it actually increases your GLP-1 drugs. Oh, sorry, GLP. It naturally increases your GLP-1 in your gut. It actually is a natural hormone in your gut. So when you eat plants, the way your gut ferments the fiber, it actually produces short chain fatty acids. It actually short chain fatty acids help you regulate your appetite. It actually increases your GLP-1 in your gut. So it's a natural thing. So uh, on the flip side, when people go on a plant predominant diet, their food noise also goes away. They're like, I don't really crave as much as I did before. Why? Because they have more short chain fatty acids in their gut and they have more GLP-1 in their gut naturally. So I rest my case.
There you go.
That's where I stand with that.
Well, listen, thanks for doing the podcast. I really
Yeah.
enjoy your Instagram. Give everybody your Instagram because it's a really easy, good watch each day with tips. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's at Reversing Diabetes Revolution. Just search Reversing Diabetes Revolution. And I really want to make this a revolution where we start to look things at the root cause rather than just managing it. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our time together as well.
Oh, it was great. And please email me over the stuff like the cereal and the protein jerky.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if you see any of the ice cream or whatever. And also
Mm-hmm.
email me over your typical day of eating that like that guy's plate there.
Mm-hmm.
It looked fantastic.
Yes.
Um and you said he had salmon hidden in there, right?
Yeah, he has some salmon hidden in there.
Are you a
Um,
fan of salmon if that's going to be your protein?
I personally don't like the taste of fish.
No, I'm saying for
Oh,
people to eat.
for people to eat, I would say actually if you choose like if you do choose meat,
Yeah.
um, you can choose chicken breast or tilapia. Tilapia is actually lower in fat than salmon is. So tilapia, cod, halibut, they're gonna be lower in fat
Chicken,
as
huh?
well.
You a chicken over salmon?
Yeah, so a chicken breast
Right, right.
there is it's lower in saturated fat as well. So again, depends on what you choose, but yeah, they're gonna be lower in saturated fat. The only thing missing is it's the fiber, so that's why you gotta pile it on with the
Yeah.
things that you add there. So yeah, I'll send it over to you,
Now,
and feel free to send it to your
can people hire you
audience.
to be their nutritionalist?
Yeah, so actually, I work with the team, so. It's me and I have a team of dietitians and certified personal trainers. And so we all kind of help our clients. And so it's a coaching program that we have. We help people reverse type 2 diabetes, and it's around 6 months long, the program. We've seen amazing results when
And how
people
do they get a
start
hold of
to
you?
yeah, so they can go to my Instagram, they can watch my free training, and once you opt in for free training, we usually have a specialist reaching out to you to see what you need help with. You can schedule a call with us as well. But the free training is where I kind of explain everything that I talked about, the insulin resistance, how we help people get off medications, and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing work because it's just awful out there. It's like I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel well. Here, take this. Big Pharma is just
Mm-hmm.
destroying the world, and
Mm-hmm.
that and Roundup in the soil, getting into the food.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody you should be living to be 120, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like people are dying younger than ever right now. I mean,
Right.
of course, not the old-timey days, but in the last 10 years, you're like, God, that guy was only 65. And you say that over and over and over. But
Yeah, I
still,
agree. And
yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make online blue zones here where people, plant predominant, build more muscles so that they can live longer here. So I appreciate you as well. Very, very, it's cool to see, your before and after and just to see how much you are, focused on taking care of yourself. So this is a
yeah,
great conversation.
got to do it. Got to do it. Thank you for doing the
Thank
show.
you. Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much. I'll send you over everything.
I really appreciate it.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.